Well, I just think this is extraordinary. I mean, to be told by Richard Dawkins what Christianity is or isn't is a very odd thing. I mean, I think we should allow people to self-identify. People are saying that they are Christians, and Richard Dawkins is coming along and saying, no, they're not. Richard, that's
it's pretty
just not
empty,
fair.
though, if they don't believe any of it.
I think that, well, I mean, I think what's happened here is there's a model of belief that's being used in this survey, which is actually a very narrow, a very head sort of model. And there are people who are Christians of the heart, practical Christians. There's all sorts of ways of expressing Christianity. And just having a few silly little questions to trip people up just seems to me not a good way of trumping...
Do you think of yourself as religious? And 50% apparently say no.
6% of people who were asked, only 6% of the people said they don't believe in God. The rest of them were not saying that. So it's like people are self-identifying this way. And Richard, it's not fair for you to come along and just have a questionnaire which trumps people's self-identification.
It's also, Richard Dawkins, mechanistic, isn't it? It's just the wrong way to look at these matters. It doesn't actually tell us anything interesting.
It tells us an awful lot. When you say, I'm telling people what it is to be Christian, we ask them a very comprehensive list of questions. You can look at the press release. It would be very hard for anyone to deny that many of these questions, most of these questions, are fundamental to the Christian religion.
But you're saying they're not Christians even if they think of themselves as Christian. You know what they are, even though they tell you
I'm not presenting my opinion here. This press release is offered to people to look down it and say, look, these people who call themselves Christians actually don't read the Bible, don't go to church, don't believe Jesus was the Son of God, don't even know what the first book of the New Testament is.
But Richard,
it's up to you to make up your mind whether you think they're Christian. Don't ask me. My opinion is not relevant.
Richard, if I said to you, what is the full title of The Origin of Species? I'm sure you could tell me that.
Yes, I could.
Go on then.
On The Origin of Species, on The Origin of Species, there is a subtitle with respect to the preservation of favoured races in the fight, in the struggle for
You're
life.
the high pope of Darwinism.
Not bad, I'd give him some justice.
But if you asked people who believed in evolution what that question, and then you came back and said 2% got it right, it would terribly easy for me to go, they don't really believe it after all. It's just not fair to ask people these questions. They self-identify as Christians, and I think you should respect